I was working with an organization that faced a very common data challenge. The same word was written in different formats. As you can see from the example on the screen, all the words refer to the same position, senior manager, but are written differently. It is easy for humans to process this information, but Excel needs specific instructions. This organization was receiving their data from different sources, so it was difficult for them to bring any consistency. So to clean such data in my early days, I would run a series of find and replace till my data was cleaned. Now this wasn't the ideal approach as it was manual and it was error prone too. What I proposed to the organization was to use a custom function using Recursive Lambda. And that's what I'm going to show you today. In this example, we have an input of a phrase comprising of numbers in the English language. We need to convert the phrase into numbers in Greek. We can do a find and replace 9 times. However, that is a manual solution and I don't like that. So what we will do is, we'll write our own function. But first, we will solve this using a simple substitute function. If substitute is new for you, I will include the link for another video where I've explained this function in detail. Let's convert this phrase in cell D8 from English to Greek. I'll write substitute. The first parameter is text, which means the text in which you want to make changes. I will select D8. The next parameter is old text, which means what do you want to replace? Since you want to replace the numbers written in English, I will select A9, which refers to 1 in English. The next parameter is new text, which means what do you want to replace the old text with? Since you want to replace the number in English with a number in Greek, I will select B9, which is alpha or Greek for 1. As I press enter, I get the modified phrase as alpha 397. The word 1 has been replaced by alpha. Now as I copy it down to the next row, it looks for the word 2 in the updated text. Since it does not find 2 in the text, it does not make any changes. If I copy it one more row down, then the substitute function looks for 3. We see that there is a 3 and therefore it replaces it with gamma. Our phrase is now alpha gamma 97. Now if I copy it down right till the end, it replaces the 7 and 9 with Greek words too. Though we get the result we want, we had to repeat the formula 9 times. If you repeat the same operation again and again, then it is an ideal case for using recursive lambda. In case this word is new for you, then recursive means repeated application of a rule. So let's start writing the function. I'll begin by writing lambda. Let's define the parameters. There are 3 parameters that come to mind. The first one is the starting phrase. Let's call it phrase. The second parameter is the text in English. We can call it as English. And similarly, we can call the third parameter as Greek. Now, whenever we write a recursive lambda, we need to take care of 2 factors. The first one is that it always begins with an exit condition. Exit condition means when should Excel stop running the recursive function? If the exit condition is not there, then the function will run forever. In our case, our exit function will be when we've exhausted with all the numbers in English. So we can write the exit function as if English is equal to nothing, which we will represent with double quotes. This means when we reach the end of this table, we stop. Once we reach the end, we will just display the value of the parameter phrase, as by that time the phrase would have been converted from English to Greek. So for the value if true for the if statement, I have written phrase. However, if that's not true, then we continue with the recursion. And for that, we will need to call the lambda again. Now, if you have not seen my tutorials on how to write a simple lambda function, then I would strongly recommend you do that first. Else you may find the next set of instructions confusing. The links are in the description. However, if you have, let's resume with our challenge. So to call the function recursively, we need to have a name of the function. And this is the second factor which we need to consider while writing a recursive lambda. We usually define the name of the function after writing the lambda. However, for recursive lambda, we need to call the function here, so we need to decide on a name now. We will use the name now, and then in the end, use it for definition in the name manager again. So let's assume we will call this function as passkey. Therefore, in the value if false, I will write passkey. Open brackets. And the first parameter I will pass here is for the phrase. For that, we will use a substitute function as we need to replace the text in English to text in Greek. So I will write substitute. The text will be the parameter phrase. Old text will be the parameter English. And the new text will be the parameter Greek. I will close the substitute function. The next parameter in the passkey function will be the next value in the table below where we have translation of English to Greek. To indicate the next value, which is in the next row, we will use the offset function. Link available in description if offset is new for you. Offset. For reference, we will refer our custom parameter English. We will offset it by 1 row and 0 columns. Which means we will move one cell down. Similarly, for the final parameter of passkey, we will use the offset function on Greek. Reference is Greek, and we will offset it by 1 row and 0 columns again. Which means we will move one cell down. Close the bracket for offset, passkey, if, and lambda. Now we need to copy this function and go to name manager. Control C or Command C. Give the exact same name as we used in the function definition, passkey. In the refers to, I'm going to paste the function definition, write the comments. Press OK. Now I can write the passkey function in the cell B2. For the first parameter, I will provide the text in the cell A2. For English, I will select the cell A9. Fix the reference. For Greek, I will select the cell B9. Fix the reference. Close the bracket and press enter. We get the result. We can now copy this function and we get the result for all of them. So this is how the recursive lambda works. It does take a few attempts to become comfortable with it. Feel free to watch this video repeatedly and try out this example yourself. You can download the workbook without any sign up from the link in the description. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment with any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, and don't forget to subscribe our channel, Analytics Success, for more tips and tricks on Excel and data analytics. Thanks for watching.